So, Terry Lynn, we're recording. Go ahead and take that away.
Well, thank you, Lorendi, for such a great introduction. As Lorendi said, I'm a career coach. I help people who are unemployed or stuck in their career get moving, face their fears, find a position with purpose, not just a job with a salary. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. Yes, I was a cheerleader. Not that my father was all that happy. I lived in Rochester and I was in a short skirt in the middle of the winter, but it has done well for me in my career development. After 22 years in human resources, my company announced that they were merging with another company. I was a VP for HR, and I actually really loved that job. Now there are two VPs, and we all know you don't need two VPs for HR. Knowing my job could be in jeopardy and not ready for retirement, I knew I needed to create a plan B. I reviewed my skills, I looked at my abilities and knowledge, and I decided I'd be a great coach. So I enrolled in the coaching program at Georgetown University, and I received my ICF certification. I didn't keep my job, but boy, I got a whole new career. Implementing my plan B, there goes my phone. Implementing plan B gave me a sense of control and a positive message about change. And the message I want to share is change happens, take control. Being unemployed or stuck in your career requires you to face change. We often associate negative emotions such as fear, anxiety, frustration, anger with change. My job as a coach is not to tell you what to do. It's to help you decide what you want to do. I'll move you from fear and paralyzation into action. I will support, guide, and empower you, and give you the tools you need to be successful. With this in mind, I created Giraffe's Consulting Career Coaching Program. Now, 30 minutes is not going to be enough time for me to teach you everything I share with my one-on-one clients. However, today I'll review the key principles of the program and give you some valuable knowledge and action steps that you can actually take as soon as the webinar is over in order to advance the progress of your job search. Face your fears. Create a plan. Land the job you want. There are 3 keys to conducting a successful job search. They are: create a mindset for success, develop marketing and networking tools, and establish interviewing strategies. Let's take a look at each one separately. Your attitude determines how you interpret and respond to a situation. That defines mindset. Here are a few ways that you can create your own mindset for success. Identify your fears. List them. Say them out loud. Determine if they are real or not. And if they're real, make a plan on how to eliminate them. For example, if you fear that you're not good enough, list all the things you do well and like doing. And look for jobs where these skills and ability are the major responsibilities of the position. You may find you are looking for an entirely different job than the one you had before. Now, isn't that exciting and a way to start a new chapter? Stay positive, stay present, and breathe. Breathe in for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, 8 times. Deep breathing reduces your heart rate, makes you feel calmer, more confident, and opens your brain so it can think more clearly. It keeps you from dwelling in the past or really fretting about the future. It opens you up to new possibilities and opportunities. An exercise that I use with my clients to build their confidence and self-esteem is one that I've adopted from Dr. William Swan's interviewing technique. Simply review your job history with a friend, starting with the first job you ever had, whether it were babysitting, cutting the lawn, a mail route, a paper route, any of the other things that we all did as young entrepreneurs in our teens. And then go on through each job until you reach your current or the last job you had. Briefly describe each one. We all remember our failures. We rarely remember our successes. This exercise will remind you of the successes that you've had, the skills that you may have and you don't even realize that you have them, and it will allow you to appreciate all the things you have accomplished. I strongly suggest to everybody on the webinar to set a date to try this exercise out with a friend ASAP. The tools we usually think of when we are looking for a job are a compelling resume, a cover letter, our LinkedIn profile. And yes, these are important. However, you will need the marketing and networking tools listed on the slide to create and implement a successful job search plan. The 5x7 card is your new business card. It has more key information on it than a regular business card. Think of it as your cliff notes of your resume, presented in a more conversational, memorable way. We'll review this card in more depth over the next 2 slides. Your commercial or your pitch. It is a 10 to 30-second statement about you, the focus of your job search, and what added value you bring to an organization. You have to pick your words carefully. You want the words you choose to demonstrate your energy and ability. Be specific and concise. You want to engage your audience with your commercial. I truly believe that you'll find your next position through marketing and networking. You need to let people know that you're looking for a new, more challenging position. To do that, you need to create a contact list of all the people, colleagues, acquaintances you know. Reach out to them, invite them for coffee, and ask their advice. Track the results and determine your next steps. You want your contacts to become a member of your team and network for you. Think about companies you'd like to work for. Go to their websites, find out what they're all about and what jobs they've posted. Think about industries that you'd like to work in and look for companies in that industry. What jobs are they posting? Having done your research on a company is an asset during the interview. Search out networking events to attend and go. Follow up on all the contacts that you made during the event and determine the next steps you can take. It's important that you make a contract with yourself. Set goals for the number of hours per week that you will spend looking at a job search engine, the number of applications you will submit, the number of appointments with contacts you will make, the number of networking events you will attend, and the number of companies that you will research each week. Certainly your contract will vary depending on you. However, reviewing your contract every week will provide you with a realistic overview of your activities. You can see what is working or what isn't and adjust accordingly. Sometimes we think we're busier than we actually are. The purpose of the 5x7 card is to provide key information about you that you want prospective employers to know. It's more likely to be read because of its bulleted, easy-to-read format. It's simpler than a resume. If they want more information, they will contact you. You should also give several of these cards out to your contacts so they have your correct information in a format that they can easily pass along on your behalf to people in their network. Okay, let's go over the card. 5x7 is the actual size of the card. It fits easily into a purse or a suit pocket. You want your contact information prominently displayed up front. Listing your credentials along with your name highlights your education and experience. This is key information that employers look for or require. What's a tagline? It is a simple statement that represents who you are. It makes you memorable. For example, one of my clients is a journalist, a videographer with a strong writing, research, and analytical skills. He was looking for a position as a multimedia producer. His tagline was, telling stories that connect people. So in a simple statement, right on the front of your card, people really get to know you in a different depth than just a regular business card. Preferred industries. List the industries you'd like to work in. For example, it could be healthcare, finance, technology, sales and marketing, media, entertainment, communication. The list goes on and on. Jobs of interest. Here's where you're going to list the job titles of the positions that you're interested in. I'd recommend you not have more than 3. For example, that's a job title: Director of Communications, Customer Service Manager, Accountant, an IT developer. One thing I want you to remember, though, is not all industries and companies title their jobs with the same title. Researching companies and looking for the jobs they post will help you decide which job titles you're going to put in this section. Managerial, interpersonal, technical skills. Here's where you get to highlight your skills. Pick the top 3 skills you have in each category. These should relate to the jobs you are interested in. For example, creative problem solver, experienced project leader, strategic goal developer, an effective communicator, Microsoft, Excel, PowerPoint would be examples of what would go under each of these categories. This is the backside of your card. The preferred work environment describes the type of environment in which you perform your best. Is it a small, medium, or large corporation, for-profit or nonprofit, with a social or cultural focus? For example, a medium-sized nonprofit with a socially conscious mission could be an example in here. Or it could be a medium or large-sized for-profit organization dedicated to social responsibilities, innovation, and forward thinking. And lastly, what do I uniquely bring to an organization? What value add do I have? I'll give you some examples here. Excuse me. I have proven expertise in strategic goal setting, solution development, and staff training. Or you could say, I manage time, people, and projects with precision and professionalism. Now, I want you to be prepared. Creating your 5x7 card takes time and several edits, which means patience. Your resume is a good resource. Interview strategies and techniques. Prior to an interview, align your skills and experience with the job description. It prepares you for possible questions that the interviewer can ask you, and it also gives you the confidence that you are a good fit for the job. Using storytelling demonstrates your skills and abilities in action. For example, be prepared to answer behavioral questions such as, tell me about a successful project that you were responsible for. What made it so successful? Tell your story. In telling your story gives the interviewer more information about how you perform, not just that you have the ability to do the job. You may also be asked to describe a project that wasn't so successful, and they will ask you, what would you do differently? Answering this question demonstrates how you learn from your mistakes and your problem-solving skills. Before an interview, take the time to role-play the interview with a friend. Give them questions that you think you may be asked. It helps you to hear your answers out loud. It gives you practice on formulating your responses so they are specific and concise. It will build your confidence in your ability to interview well. When you enroll in the career coaching program, you will learn more about the 3 keys to a successful job search. Together, we will customize the tools of the program to fit your unique needs and ensure that you will be able to effectively implement these tools to fast-track your new career. I'll guide you, support your efforts, and actually challenge you to step out of your comfort zone to reach your potential. You will take control of your future and land the job you really want, one that will fulfill you, inspire, and empower you. To thank you all for joining the webinar and to show my appreciation, I will reach out to each one of you to schedule a free half-hour consultation. During that session, you can tell me your story, learn more about the program, and discover how the program will benefit you. Giraffes Consulting offers you a promise. If you don't land the job you want by the end of the program, you will receive an additional 3 months of coaching at no extra cost. You are ready to face your fears, create a plan, land the job you want.
Fantastic, Terry Lynn. Thank you so much. So we want to open it up now for people to ask any questions that you might have. So I'm going to go ahead and take everyone off of mute. And if you can just, if you have a question, just go ahead and announce yourself, who you are, and then just go ahead and ask the question. And to just lead us off, I wanted to ask a question, Terry Lynn. So tell me the difference between someone who works with you and someone who tries to go it alone. What's the time differential, generally speaking? In other words, how much time does it generally take for someone to find a position on their own compared to working with a career coach like you?
I have found that on average, it does take about 6 months in order to find a job, especially it takes a while to get all of these tools together, getting you using them effectively. But without these tools, and you're relying just on those job search engines, it can be a very demoralizing experience. One, it's you and the computer. Many times you never hear back. And many of my clients come to me after a period of time of just feeling defeated and not hearing anything, not going anywhere. So I think working with a coach, what's most important is there's somebody who's on your team. Somebody is there to help you out, to guide you, to maybe hold you a little bit more accountable, but also there to field questions, to try out some other ideas. Like I said, I don't tell people what to do. I help them discover what they want to do. I ask a lot of curious questions, probably painfully so at some point, but I want them to really to be able to own their own process and move forward, but they're not alone. And that's the difference, I think, of being in your apartment, especially if you're unemployed, and being with the computer all day long. You sort of lose a lot of the infrastructure of being in the world.
Right. I also love that, as an executive advisor to small and medium-sized businesses, one of the things that we focus on is bringing in more sales and bringing in more opportunities. And so we have a specific way that we ask business owners to speak about what they do that's interrupting, engaging, compelling, and really what you're asking the people who are looking to improve their career position, whether they're currently employed or unemployed, is to also have that statement for themselves. Because just like in businesses, there's a whole sea of potential business opportunities, business providers for every opportunity. So are there thousands of applicants for most jobs. And so really what you're asking people to do is take a deeper look and be able to elevate themselves above the noise, right? And that's the power of that powerful tagline that you help people create.
And one of the other things too, by going on to companies that you want to work for or companies that are in the industry you want to work in, you start seeing what jobs they are offering. You're not depending on the Indeeds or the LinkedIn profiles or all the other search engines. You're actually going to a place where you think you want to work, and you can begin to see what are they offering. And at this point, you feel more in control of the process than just answering an ad or for applying for a position that comes up on one of the search engines. And I think the more control that people have, the more confident they are that, darn it, I have a choice in this decision too. Do I really want that job? And do they want me? It's kind of an equal thing. And it really enriches your ability to, in an interview them as well as just them firing questions at you.
Right, because that's the point, right? It should be a two-way street. So again, just want to open up the floor. If anyone has any questions, just go ahead and feel free to announce yourself and fire away with the question. If not, I can come up with plenty all day long. You get me started, Terry Lynn.
I know you can do that.
I have one.
Okay, go ahead and announce yourself, please. Just your first name.
Sherry Gravick.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi. I'd like to know, um, what do you say to older employees who are looking for work and having difficult times finding work as well?
Really what you need to do is help them really define the types of jobs that they are looking at and for. And sometimes we need to think outside the box that they were originally in. Many people who come to me who are in their 50s, etc., they were in a job for a long period of time. And it kind of numbs them to what else is out there for them to look into. It is difficult to find a job at any age. And there is competition, but I think in people starting to think outside their box gives them like an excitement, an opportunity to think of this as an adventure and say, okay, this could be an opportunity that I'm not working. What do I want to do with this opportunity? And you can go from there in order to then start thinking outside the box. This is why it's so important to really develop your contact list, because you want more people out there networking for you as a teammate than you can just do on your own. And I encourage people of all ages, but especially the people who are a little bit older and a little bit sensitive about that get your network out there and being able to sell. So the more key information you can give to your contact people as to what you're doing, what you want to do, what is the best thing that you can do. Remember, experience shouldn't be short-sighted. Experience can really take a person a long way. We just have to let the employer know they need all of our experience.
Right.
And want our experience.
Yeah. Did that answer your question, Sherry?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. It's also interesting, Terry Lynn. I left corporate 15 years ago before I opened my own company. And about the last 7 years that I was there, I really worked with the employees in our company to help them decide, is this still the place I want to be? And if not, what are some other options for me? And I always took people inside to do that self-discovery, which I think is so important, which I love about your process. And a good career coach will do that for you, right? And take time to do that self-discovery to decide if with a clean sheet of paper, which all of us really truly have. If we think we don't, that's a mindset thing. What could I do? What would I want to be spending my time doing? Fantastic. Okay, any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, and it's Fran, is that correct?
This is Fanny Cheng.
Oh, hi, Fanny. Okay, go ahead, Fanny.
So I had a telephone interview, which I realize now is, as much as I thought I could had good verbal communication skills, I don't know how well I did. But one of the questions that somebody asked me was, why, if I was at X level before, was I looking at something at a lower level? What's the best way to answer that? Oftentimes you mentioned it before, Terry Lynn, that different industries have different titles, job titles. So what can you recommend is the best way to answer that kind of question?
Well, certainly you can say to somebody, I am looking for a job with purpose. I'm looking for a position with purpose, not a job with a salary. I am looking at something that I want to do, that I can add value to, that will challenge me. And it's not all around the salary. And so that's one of the things. I notice that when my clients say that in an interview, that they're looking more for a position with a purpose, not a job with a salary. It sort of sets the interviewer back a little bit, but then they begin to realize these people really know what they want, and they are going to be great at it when they get it.
Yeah.
And so I think that is a really good answer. But there's always people in your business about what your budget is and what your budget is not. We need to help them get over that very politely, and that's what a statement that I would use, that I'm looking for a position with purpose, not just a job with a salary.
Yeah, salary and title. So, but I do have an interesting question, Fanny. Why would you be looking, now it's just us girls talking. Why would you be looking for a different situation?
So one of them is what Terry Lynn said, purpose. Of course, saying it that way didn't come to me during the telephone interview.
Uh-huh.
One would be because I am looking for something. I'm too young to just get up and go to work because I have to, and I'm too old to get up and go to work because I have to. I
Yeah.
want it to be meaningful, but also because I have found, my experience has shown me that I need to have a better work-life balance. So maybe I don't need something as stressful as I had. That plays into what I'm looking for as well.
And you articulated that very well, by the way.
Oh,
And having interviewed almost thousands of people by now, I hate to admit, or maybe I don't hate to admit, if someone, shared that with me, it would cause me to ask some more curious questions. And the whole interviewing process is about mutual engagement, really, right? So
yeah.
one of the very first companies that I helped when I opened my consulting and coaching practice was an executive recruitment firm. And I learned so much about that really is what the interviewing process is about. And so this mutual engagement which Terry is, instructing and teaching us about is so core and so powerful and so fundamental. So I would say, Fanny, is that just practice a little more and really own that, right? That, when I was in my 20s, it was all about working to get ahead. Now that I have a few miles behind me, I'm looking more or as much about work-life balance, and I'm willing to take a different position or a lower position per se, but I'm still going to give it the 150% I always gave it, knowing that you get all that experience, but the trade-off for me is I get a little more balance in my life. So these are things that Terry, a career coach helps you with, right? Fantastic.
Right.
Excellent question. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? We have about 2 more minutes. Terry Lynn, I would like to ask you this 5x7 card. So
Right.
brilliant. What I love also, used well, I think helps us get focused on what we're about, right? It's the power of putting the presentation together. So I love how you said, do not skip on this one. Do the work, do this exercise. So, and first of all, who else is doing it? You show up to the interview with that 5x7 card, I guarantee you other people aren't doing that. So I really thank you so much for such a great tip. It's really, I think, so invaluable.
Right, and I found that when you're working with, your contacts, they're not prepared to have and carry around your resume, and be handing out that big sheet of paper. It can be a little bit intimidating when you hand somebody a resume. But this little 5x7 card, well, it's really not so little, but this 5x7 card has so much information on it. And the information is keyholed into exactly what you want them to know. You will give them a resume, and of course they will want a resume, but right off the bat, they can read it and be done with it in 30 seconds and say, wow, I know a lot about this person. But you're absolutely right, Lorendi. It does take you through. There is a purpose to the questions and the way they're asked, because your commercial could be the first 2 questions and the last question in developing your 10 to 30 second commercial, using those questions to framework what you're doing and what you're looking for and what value you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to take us off a screen share for a moment and just go back on the camera so people have an opportunity, to say hello to us in person. And again, just want to thank everyone for spending this time with us this afternoon. You can tell we love what we do. You can tell Terry Lynn loves what she does. And,
Absolutely.
So fortunate to have Terry Lynn as one of my power partners with the clients that I work with. And her years and breadth of experience, her heart, her fun, and great sense of humor makes her just a winning combination for anyone. So just any final questions before we sign off?
No, just it was very good. You gave very good, quick tips. This was probably one of the better webinars I've been on in a while. So thank you very much, both of you.
You're so welcome. We wanted to make sure you got golden, valuable nuggets, whether we ever speak again or not. There's some things that if you took these and implemented these things tomorrow, they would transform your job search and your life and for everyone that you love. So have an amazing day, and we'll hope to see you again on another webinar soon.
Thank
Great.
you.
Bye now.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.